welcome to another video. In today's video, it's the history of my gear of this channel. So, I started this channel maybe about 2 years before I even started releasing videos. So, first thing I did was I had a bunch of video ideas. The second thing I did was kind of figure out what kind of gear I wanted. And basically, at that moment, I owned a video production company. I don't remember the number of them, they're the big red Panasonic Pro camcorder thing, right? Maybe camcorder is the wrong name for it. But I had those and another camera, another DLSR associated with the business, right? But I started this as a separate side project, okay? So I basically went on the Casey Neistat recommendation, right? So I got the Canon 80D with the Joby telescoping stand and the mini Rode shotgun mic for the top and whatever lens he recommended, right? So I got that set up. I also got two Hero 7 Black GoPro with a few accessories, not a ton of stuff to like use them with. And I also bought a used Mavic 1 and a iPad mini to pair with the Mavic. So that was, and then I had I think I had an iPhone 6 too, right? Which I didn't use at all, okay? So that was how I initially started this channel. And I initially started off as doing like my autobiography, my resource-based economy information that is like kind of like a futuristic philosophy, resource-based economy, right? And then, so the initial plan was to do all this and then kind of merge the channel into like permaculture, farming, and all this, right? And the process of building a farm, right? So, although the process of building the farm and all that, like, kind of changed along the way, right? So, I wanted to have, GoPros for time lapses, a Mavic, a drone, so I could like do the same shot over and over again. Although I never got to that point. I was never able to I am there now. Like I have all the technology, the programs, the equipment. I have everything to do that shot and nothing to do it for because I'm not working on any of those projects right now. Okay? So I had all that equipment to start the thing. And at that point, I also had an editing portion of my other business, right? So I had editors. I had publishers, editors. So when I started making my videos, I was able just to give them to my editors. And then the editors took care of it. Now, I had a horrible experience right when I started this because I started it with OneDrive, right? Where I was keeping everything on OneDrive. There was no backup. So after I got like a ton of stuff recorded, I bought another drive to back it up. Well, thanks to Apple's little kind of not having something with these drives I bought. I don't remember, I think it was a Western Digital, maybe, I can't remember specifically, but it failed to format like on the first go round, and then I just inadvertently clicked on the drive with all the stuff because they changed positions, right? And I just kind of was on autopilot, not really paying attention. I literally formatted the drive with all my data on it. and lost everything that I had shot for months. I sent it off to a data recovery company, got it back, and my editor was able to salvage, although there was no file structure. I mean, the fact that he salvaged it all was pretty amazing. The quality probably took a decent hit because there was no file structure, and I had gone off and shot B-roll of stuff that I wanted added into some of these videos that never made it because there was no context, right? So that was very unfortunate. And then the way we started publishing just by dumping, I don't even remember how many videos. It was nuts, like maybe 100 or something like that, all in the first week or something. So needless to say, that kind of set the channel on kind of a weird trajectory, all right? But I had decent equipment and good editors and everything was going good. But then my business part that I had going basically just kind of fell apart, right? I left it and left directions on what to do, and they failed to follow the directions, and everything just kind of crumbled. So at that point, I was doing all my own editing, and I actually didn't do much other than I had a whole phase that I was pretty much just doing iPad videos. So I was just shooting and publishing everything right from an iPad. No editing, one take, zero effort. And I did that for a while. And I pretty much was doing that. Every once in a while, I'd use the gear that I had to make a little video, but that portion of my existence wasn't really, not much was going on, right? I mean, my business was going under, I had this property, just long story short. So I wasn't really utilizing my GoPros and my drones and, I wasn't making videos other than pretty much just commentary on political stuff, right? Well, then my place was burned down. I was arsoned. The day after I made a video called "Sorry if you don't know, Trump's a fascist," or something to this effect. So yeah, I lost most everything, right? Lost a shipping container, 40-foot high cube with everything you'd want to fill a house, all my house stuff. And an RV, big, nice, double slide RV with all my stuff, clothes and some tools and all this. I did not lose everything. Some things didn't go up in the fire, but all my equipment did. So at that point, I started using a iPhone 6, which is what I had before I lost it in the fire. I actually bought a used one and just went back to having an iPhone 6. And that was my main production camera. And I was editing everything on a refurbished Dell laptop. And I did that for a while. And then I just kind of wanted to up my quality because the 6S camera wasn't that great. So I bought a refurbished Hero 7 Black and a big pack of knockoff parts to be able to connect the GoPro to everything. I got on my bike, that same GoPro I take with me all the time. On my bike, I got it hooked up. I got a way to put it on my truck. I'm constantly can put it to anything because I bought this. I think I spent about $500 at the time to get this total kit of stuff, because really GoPros are only as useful as the ways you have to mount them to things, right? Because just a GoPro or action camera or whatever, and you just set it there, That's one thing. Well, you can clamp it up, whatever, that's obviously a lot better. So I had that kit now. And then the next thing I bought was a little audio, real inexpensive, Zoom audio. I still use it to this day because I can't get this to sound good for whatever reason. Like, everything else sounds good. That sounds horrible. Any video I have ever made with that sounds horrible. So I don't even use it much. It's just that it's an ornament. So I bought this little Zoom with a Rode lavalier mic, and that worked good. I had the GoPro, I had the recording, it made decent videos, and I used that for a while. And then I bought a iPhone 12 Pro. It was like $1,000, and that made making videos easier than with the GoPro and the mic setup, because the audio sounded better in the iPhone 12 than it did in the GoPro 7. So I didn't have to use my mic all the time, my Zoom recorder. So it just made it easier. So I was using the iPhone 12 for years. I mean, that was pretty much it for years. Now, at one point, when we had a super bloom on my property and all the work that I had done was finally just blooming and taking off like crazy, I was like, how do I communicate this, right? And I kind of went the wrong direction at the time. I bought a drone, I bought a tablet, I bought a used Triple Tech 7 tablet and a Mavic Air 2S with the upgraded package with the extra batteries and like 2 years of service, right? And to be a YouTuber and to post in the United States, if you're a YouTuber and you post videos with drone footage, you're supposed to have an FAA drone license where you take a test in the FAA's, regional places, and then you pay a fee to the FAA. I think it's every 2 years, and then to keep your license up, right? Which that was the issue that I had, like the test. I could have passed the test, but I didn't want to be paying, because I don't make any money on this channel. Not a penny. So to pay something to be able to post drone footage on my channel, pay the government money to post drone footage on my channel, I just wasn't willing to do that, right? And what I was trying to communicate with the drone was a horrible idea. I should have bought a nice mirrorless camera with a macro lens. That would have been much better. But hindsight's 2020. I did do a cool mapping setup, which I got the drone completely set up to where you can just set it up, hit go, and it'll do everything, right? And I hooked up all the things to be able to do it quite efficiently. I bought the small rig tripod, which is kind of a heavy duty tripod. I got the golfing umbrella to put over it, because you're out in the sun with the controller, the pad, and the drone's flying around. You want to put shade above all that stuff so your tablet doesn't overheat, because you're doing this huge mapping situation is what I was doing, right? And so that's what I was setting up for. Well, I did it. You kind of do it once. I could have done it again, but at like a higher resolution. But at that point, I was just like, this isn't the way to really show this good, right? And I did a bunch of little videos, shorts of little recordings of all the different flowers and everything that was blooming and kind of like that. But I ended up actually even writing a book about that. So I ended up spending like $2,000 on a drone and a drone setup that I didn't really use much. I have used it. I'd fly it for fun, just kind of whizzing around, not really making any videos with it. I did that quite a few times over the years. And since I'm in Mexico now, I can actually put the videos on my channel with no sort of, there's a registration process here in Mexico for drones, but it's gated behind Spanish that I can't seem to figure out because the translator is telling me something I still don't understand in English. So I don't really fly it here. I have flown it like a handful of times, quick like little, shots here and there. If I wanted a shot, I'd just go get it. And, I don't, they've got bigger problems than people flying drones completely safely. And, I don't do anything that would, I'm not flying it by somebody's window or whatever. So needless to say, I spent $2,000 on something that really didn't benefit my YouTube channel at all, right? And I was really trying to promote the fact that Central Oregon's not a high desert. It's what's called steppe. So the drone wasn't really showing that up that well. Okay. So now that's all the equipment I had for production wise up until about 2 months ago. I went and bought a Sony ZV-E10, a little Sony mirrorless camera. And at the time, I was going to get a cage for it and a bigger battery to do this whole thing, because the camera's tiny and it's hard to hold. But what I ended up doing, because when you're in Mexico, you just kind of buy what you can buy in Mexico, because getting things shipped in and all that, super expensive. So I bought a Ronin 3 gimbal and 2 extra lenses for the Sony. I got a Prime 50 and I got a something to 200. So a long distance lens, right? And at that same time, I ordered a new Triple Tech. So I have the Triple Tech 7 Pro. I got it and almost immediately it started throwing error codes that the software that I was using wasn't liking the tablet that I was using because it was underpowered. That was what the error code was on the mapping stuff that I was doing did. So I pretty much, that Triple Tech just never did anything. Now, when I got this DJI Ronin, and I have still used the Triple Tech 7 with the DJI app, and it flies pretty much no problems. There's a little glitchiness because the software is so old, but everything works fine. But when I hooked it up to the Ronin, the new Ronin, and there's all these cool things you can do with it, it wasn't enabling all the features in the app. So the tablet, the 7 Pro, was too old to work with a few different things. So I broke down and ordered a 9 Pro. And that experience was actually really horrible for a lot of reasons due to Mexican way the banking system works, and they're just always assuming everybody's trying to scam everybody all the time, I think. I don't know, but it turned into a nightmare. Then the company itself, which I had a little interaction with the company back when I bought the first 7, but I bought it used off eBay. But then I needed like the kit that they sell to mount it to the controller, right? Well, I had a little interaction with the company at one point, and they were kind of a little bit like, you know. Well, on this whole next level, they were just horrible. Like the Triple Tech tablet, capable tablet for drones, bright screen, runs all this. The company though, so anyway, I got that now, and that paired with the DJI Ronin, I could do some cool stuff, and it also now can run all the apps that I wanted to run to fly the drone as well, right? And I also bought myself a little light, just a little simple light, okay? And one more thing I did was I bought a little case for all the extra parts and stuff. I had bought a GoPro backpack to hold all this stuff, but the backpack just wasn't that great at having a nice organized way to get at all the extra camera parts that I have, right? And mostly those extra parts are GoPro connecting part stuff, most of it, right? So I bought this little tiny mini suitcase. I hadn't ever seen anything. And I went all over, because pretty much the way I look at being here is you just buy what you can buy, where you can buy it. And trying to order things online has a whole layer of complexity that I just don't even want to mess with. I mean, mainly there's no mailboxes, right? There's like, so any mail that you may or may not get just gets put, you know? So there's just all these layers of complexity that just benefit to just going and buying what you can buy. So I searched all over. A Sears, no less, you know, a dead American icon killed by vulture capitalism is alive and well here. And I went in there. Now they don't have all the Craftsman stuff anymore, but they had little container stuff and a little mini suitcase. So bam, now I've got my entire gear set all can pack up into bags and a suitcase type thing and a backpack, everything full into 3 containers, which is portability, very, very crucial for, you know, the stuff I would like to be doing. You know, I'm doing a lot of this stuff on this level currently, but, you know, stay tuned for more exciting stuff. This is my charging station I built a few years ago, and super overkill at the time, but as the years go on, and that was the intent, it fills up a little at a time. So have a charger here for AA and AAA batteries. This is a wireless charger. We have a power switch right here. We have a breaker right there. There is currently, well, this is a permanent, and there's like 6-8 USBs. There's a USB, there's the high rate charging. Then I've got the DJI mics that are mounted in there. This just has Velcro on the bottom. This entire case has Velcro, so anything you want to mount in there, you just put a strip of Velcro on it and boom. Like, so here's my GoPro batteries. They're just mounted up there. And when it closes, they're just suspended upside down. So I keep, you know, old cell phones in here. This is actually the light for my drone. Some extra cables. There's a few cables I should do some more with, but yeah, this thing is actually pretty handy as far as just having one place to charge everything. Right. And so now looking in the future, the one thing I would like to get, because there's always going to be more stuff you want, and what I want is that new X5 3D Insta360, I think. Super cool camera. That is something I'd like to get next. But I also want a wider lens for this camera. So that would be then 4 lenses that I have for this camera. And also, I'd like to update this gimbal, because the new Mini 4 gimbal has a tracking module you can buy, which is perfect for me because I could set up my tripod, set up the gimbal, and the gimbal could track me while I'm doing whatever videos, right? So that is something I'd like to upgrade to, but that's gonna be rough. I don't need 2 gimbals. Although, you know, B-roll on one gimbal and A-roll on another gimbal, and you got everything, you know, it might be nice. But I'm really looking, I haven't played with the gimbal and the Triple Tech 9 yet. But the cool things you can do with those is you can grab, like, you can pre-program the shots, right? So like, I could go, hypothetically, I could go someplace like down with a view, and the camera, I could set it all up, and I could hit go, and it could like take a really nice shot, do a nice pan, and then come in and focus on me. I could do an intro, like that kind of capability stuff that actually looks like you're working with a camera person type level stuff. So this is all coming soon. There is my history of my gear for this channel, and a little history of the channel overall. So subscribe, like. If you didn't like the video, hit that dislike button twice. And peace.
Thank you for watching my video.